And if you look at it, he has a point, because looking at the person who started this case, Luis Moreno Ocampo, he might have been the one who probably misled or assumed that if I had these records, would be the easier point for me to pin down Uhuru Kenyatta. But wait a minute, Bensouda comes in, he comes into the country, she's welcomed, she's told you are free to
I remember covering her going even to Rift. Yeah,
and even the lawyers for the prosecutors who came into the country looking for evidence, they even went to Safaricom and all, but they didn't know exactly what they came for, and I think that's the biggest problem that the prosecution faces. So it is left at the mercy of the 3 judges bench to decide. One option that they might go with, they might refer the country to the state of the Commission of State Parties to declare either Kenya is non-cooperative with the ICC, which you don't want to go that way, or they might as well decide that this case has no future and probably throw away the case.
Yeah, and we'll definitely wait to see. What was also, of course, very telling from that is the prosecution saying that they're not even sure if they get what they're asking for, that they will have a case, that they're still getting it to then figure out if there is something in there. But another big story, Ruto holds several meetings on day one as acting president. And I got some
Did you see that convoy and how he arrived
at
48
hours of power.
House? Yes. It was very dramatic to see that convoy and to see the person who came out. It was William Ruto.
Yeah.
And the 48 hours, I'm sure he's enjoying. And
he
I wish
seems
it
like
was
he's having a good time.
He was extended.
We're making a joke and saying that perhaps he needs to dash quickly to the Rift for a quick homecoming.
And you remember there was a judge who went to court
a lawyer,
a lawyer who wanted the Ruto to be sworn in as a president.
It's in the star,
saying that you cannot assume office and not been sworn in. Probably some attention seeking, but it is provided in the law that the president can delegate duties to the deputy president on acting capacity. It doesn't have to be sworn in. It is not provided in the law. So I don't think that case has some basis.
Okay, we'll wait to see how that unfolds. So it's 24 hours now more left for Ruto.
Yes.
At the helm.
24 hours, and I think the first 24 hours are well spent.
Well spent in meetings.
Ruto, yes.
He needs to spend some in LD. Okay, but
I wish probably it would have fallen into a public holiday.
And then he'd have done something.
Yes, he would
like
have
a speech.
He would have addressed the nation maybe from Nyayo Stadium and presided over a national holiday.
Yeah.
Probably it would have more color.
More color.
Than
and have
just
him
sitting
waving to everybody. That would be interesting. Daily Nation, let's move to that. Again, it is more of the front page, what awaits Uhuru in Bensouda face-off, and as you said, really it's either a termination or an adjournment.
Yeah, I think it's still the biggest story in all the papers. But one thing that probably Uhuru's case might have not wished for, and it happened, was that today's session will not see the presence of Githu Muigai.
Yes.
You know, Githu Muigai has been instrumental in this case, especially defending the government stance in terms of cooperation with the ICC. I remember in yesterday's session, that was the last request that Githu Muigai was making. That is a friend of the court, and this is a case that he's been involved in. Why can't he be allowed in today? You know, Githu Muigai is not a defendant in this case. Neither is he a lawyer to the president. He's just coming in as a representative of the state.
But to have sought status of amicus curiae, a friend of the court, because doesn't that need to be a completely neutral person? Because ideally he is representing the government that Uhuru heads. So then
so what the judges, what I could gather from what the judges decision was yesterday is that we've gotten all the information that we wanted from you. It is now up to today's session is just up to the defense and the prosecution to present their status and for the judges to make a decision. We don't want any more information from Githu Muigai. We've extracted or we've gotten all the information that we wanted from you as a friend of the court. Okay. So no Githu Muigai in today's session. Yeah.
And page 2 there at the bottom, there's the East Africans remain silent on ICC case. So we've not had much from the other presidents, and as far as how this has played out,
I think when the ICC judges made it mandatory for the president to appear, we heard from the African Union saying they will support the president, and probably we thought they would send a delegation just to offer support to the president. But I think this decision has been arrived at as a result of the president not going as a president. So African Union, East African and African Union, probably their hands could be tied in terms of their presence in the Hague. Who are you here as? This is an ordinary Kenyan citizen who is being represented, is being accused here.
I saw a picture with all these jokes that people have been having on social media, and that as the president goes, and a plane from each African country just taking off, heading to the Hague.
that would be 50-something planes.
That need huge hangars to accommodate that at the Netherlands. But on page 5,
but a huge delegation from Kenya. I think he has,
it will be interesting to see the footage today.
That is if wanted, I think he has enough.
He's gotten it.
Yeah.
Page 5, Raila criticizes Ruto's fanfare. So finally we are hearing, because most of the jokes, the memes, the fun that has been made on social media especially has been pitting Raila and Ruto. You know, Raila shedding tears, can't believe this.
Yeah, I read one that Raila has tried so many times to be the president, and he's failed. And just from nowhere, Ruto, who was Raila's aide, gets it before him. And there were so many other jokes surrounding this acting presidency, and most of it directed at Raila. But what Raila is saying is that he doesn't see any issues, and he's questioning the spending of the money by members of parliament to go to the Hague. I remember yesterday many committee sittings in parliament were paralyzed because
they're not around.
Yeah, they're not there. The members of the committees are nowhere to be seen. So most of the committee sittings were postponed. Probably that's why Raila is saying, I'm not seeing any fanfare in all this. Probably is just derailing some of the government or pressures of the state.
Yeah, because we've seen quite a number of them coming out to insist and say, you know what, we are using our own money. We had some sponsoring others to go. Yesterday we hosted the Kikuyu Member of Parliament, Chungwa. He left last evening and he'd sponsored 2 people to go as well. Sonko, I think, had posted something on Facebook telling 16 world, you know. So it's definitely very many people there, and there's been even an issue of space. Where do all these people sit? Of course, and
of course they won't sit inside the court. Probably they will sit in the public gallery, and the only time they would be offering their support to the president is probably outside the court, and but within the precincts of the court we won't see much of them. So that's probably what the opposition is saying. But remember, there are also some members of the opposition who have traveled also to
and Kaiseri is there.
Kaiseri was one of them. So that's what we expected from the opposition. I don't think would have gotten anything different.
Okay, and this seems to have also taken the steam, would you say, from the referendum, that this now has captured the attention of the country a little bit from Okoa Kenya, would you say?
Well, yes. You can see from the headlines. I'm sure,
across the board.
I'm sure the Okoa Kenya activities are going on, but they've not gotten the attention because of this. I think this is a much bigger coverage. I'm not saying Okoa Kenya's initiative is not important, but I'm saying I think the attention of the country and
has shifted.
Even all the coverage of of the media, the radio, the newspapers, the television will be on this, and I'm sure every Kenyan will be glued on their television sets to see what will be happening
today
as from 11 o'clock.
NEC told to change gender on certificate. Meanwhile, on page 8, so transgender wins long legal battles have female status recognized. So from Andrew to Audrey, and now it's official.
It's a landmark ruling, and I'm sure now what Audrey will be doing next will be probably going to the Department of Registration. I'm sure she'll now want to change her birth certificate and probably the passport and all that, and the identification. But I think it's a landmark ruling. We've never had something like this in the country.
Yes.
I don't know if I should say sex change, because if I was born Aaron, and at some point I changed to Sharon, I think that is the closest.
Clearly, you thought about that one.
That is the closest. I think it would make news, and
yes, it would.
Yeah, I think this is a landmark ruling.
She was very happy,
and she was happy about it. We had her yesterday.
Yeah,
on the show.
I saw that. Yeah,
and she looked like she's won first round, and I expect her to continue this fight.
Yeah, it's a changing world, and you know, the space expanding in terms of accommodating everyone in whatever lifestyle and life choices they make, and not perhaps the same script for everybody.
I also have my reservation on the whole thing, but I think she has her own rights, and
exactly.
we have to respect that.
They must be respected.
Yes.
Finally, before we quickly just look at the Star, which pretty much has covered most of the stories we've talked about, the back page of the Daily Nation has a waiter, another crate of beer, please, improving economy and marketing by alcohol companies behind the new trend. So alcohol has become the beverage of choice for more Kenyans over the last 10 years, a new survey by the World Health Organization has revealed. So Kenyans love their drink.
A drinking nation, I would say. I don't know if you're part of that statistic.
Let's not put me in that one.
So it is a worrying trend, I would say, if we are standing out from the rest of the countries in Africa.
Yes.
In terms of drinking, maybe it could have been something else.
I don't know.
But I think if I look at it critically, I think we need to improve. I think Mutudho needs to step up his game and probably control more.
But you know, I also even don't think it's Mutudho, because I think he's really been out there and been bashed by those who love their drink for a long time. But it's that mentality that for most Kenyans, a fun weekend or a fun time, a chilled out time is with the boys or girls or whatever, with having a drink. We don't have this, you know, go for a picnic, go for a drive, go on holiday, other things.
Climbing.
Yeah, mountain climbing. We're talking about it the other day with my friends. We're like, you know what? It's just that lack of thinking outside the box. That there's more you can do to have fun with your friends than sit and gain those calories on alcohol.
Kenyans are stressed, and I think...
well, everybody has stress once in a while.
Need to relieve the stress with
one for the road.
Yes.
Okay, there's more deets there that you can read. Finally, the Star. So leading again with that judges lock out Githu in Uhuru case. Yeah,
probably just what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
That I think it would have been a plus to Uhuru Kenyatta. I think Githu has been instrumental in this case. He's been defending the nation. He's been putting the prosecution on their toes, challenging them. And I think if he'd been given a chance, probably he would chip in once in a while as these proceedings would be going on.
Yeah.
And I think the judges have stood their ground. They've said, you're not a party to, let's say, you're not an accused, and you're not in the prosecution side, so you do not have a major role to play in this case, which I think they could have tried, because they've had a session with Githu. They've gotten or extracted all the information that they wanted from him. So I don't think he has any part to play in today's proceedings.
Yeah. So yesterday, President left the country. Raila also left the country on page 2.
Okay.
Yes, Raila leaves for U.S. varsity talk. So he's gone to the Yale University in the U.S. And a statement from spokesman Onyango said Raila is scheduled to deliver the Coca-Cola World's Fund lecture at Yale tomorrow.
Yeah, but they say Raila, there's some quarters which say Raila is a people's president and we have the state president. So the two presidents are out of the country. But we have an acting president. But it's a good cause that
Ruto in the house.
We have a good cause. If he's delivering a lecture on what is it about? Is it on governance at the Yale University? I think it's a good cause, and probably he's also taking a break from the many Okoa Kenya rallies that he's been having. Yeah. So.
But that picture, when you have Babu Owino there, the chairman of the students' organization at the Nairobi University, it is so different what you see now with the leadership universities than what we saw back in the day. Now it's usually strike threats and all. The heart of the matter, in terms of championing and talking about issues that matter to the country, we don't see them at the front line with that anymore.
We don't. I don't know if you remember, we had a very staunch student leader by the name of Karl Marx. He is now deceased. But Karl Marx used to be, you would think he's a politician, and you wouldn't figure out that this is a student at the university. Yeah, I think a little bit laid down approach by the current university leadership, only coming out.
And rather flamboyant in how they conduct
coming out
going to address the members in choppers.
Yes.
You see that?
A lot of questions of how they get funding on all this.
Yeah. Finally, Rusinga people loses his suit for dreadlocks. There was this story that we covered a while back. So Justice Mumbi Ngoge at the High Court yesterday ordered that a school, after he was ordered to cut off the dreadlocks, has lost his legal battle to keep his long hair. So in the judgment, she said the boy failed to convince the court that his culture and religious rights had been violated.
I think also being a private school, a Rusinga school, it also has their own rules that probably might not reflect the views of the public schools.
Yeah.
So I think it was a rather peculiar case. A young boy, how old was he?
Yeah, and he's had them for, I think, since he was very young.
Yes, so the judge is saying that they were not convinced that this boy had a Rastafarian culture, that if dreadlocks were removed from his head, it would be an infringement on his rights. So I think he still has a chance. He can appeal, or better still, he can go to another school, or if he has to be in that school, he has to shave.
Yeah, he has to shave. Definitely, some of those options that now remain. We'll see which one they'll take. Before we let you go, what do you think Acting President William Ruto needs to do in the remaining 24 hours?
He needs to come out and get out of the office. Let's see him out there and...
What, driving around and causing traffic? No, we don't want that.
He needs to enjoy. He has very few hours of presidency.
Yeah.
And you never know if he'll
I'd
get
suggest he does
chance.
a quick homecoming. Just goes to Rift Valley.
Yeah, and did you see his people in Sugut in Eldoret North?
No.
They were very happy. Yesterday they were saying, this is a sign of things to come. They are smelling the presidency.
It's a rehearsal.
They're smelling the presidency from a distance.
Yeah. 10 years, but they say 10 years for Uhuru, so it's a distance of about 20. Which year will that be?
We never know. He's given him for 48 hours. He might as well say 2017, you have it.
Just take it.
Yes.
We'll wait and see. Politics, a lot can change just even in a day. Thank you very much, Aaron, for joining us for Press Review this morning. And stay with us on Morning Express. We take a break. When we return, we'll have the news for you. And the newsroom is coming up later on. And as I said, we will be talking to my colleagues in Nyeri, in Rift Valley, in Kisumu as well, and from The Hague, more on the status conference just hours away. President Uhuru Kenyatta to appear before the judges at the International Criminal Court. It's a make or break, this one. It's huge, huge, huge. Will they decide to adjourn, or will they terminate the case against the president?